Coach Elmore's made a call to the bullpen, so we would like to welcome to the field our superintendent of the Hutto ISD, Dr. Selena Estrada Thomas. We'd like to take this time to thank Dr. Thomas for leading us through a crazy year. It's about this time last year that we entered a pandemic, and nothing's been the same since. So thank you for leading us through a pandemic, a snow apocalypse, and every other thing that could be crazy this year.
Stay tuned for Hutto Hippos baseball on SHNsports.com. Hippos are facing the #1 ranked team in the state, the Lake Travis Cavaliers. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll be on the air, so stay tuned.
We'll now introduce both starting lineups, have a national anthem, then play some baseball. First, for the visiting Lake Travis Cavaliers, leading off in center field, number 3, Dawson French. Batting second, playing first base, number 5, Ethan Calder. Batting third, playing second base, number 10, Dylan Slaughterback. Batting cleanup and playing shortstop, number 6, Caden Kent. Batting fifth and DHing, number 15, Cole Johnson. Pitching for the Cavaliers, number 11, Pierce George. Batting sixth in right field, number 21, O.J. Gonzalez. Batting seventh, playing left field, number 12, Nick Luna. Batting eighth, playing third base, number 1, Logan Baker. And batting ninth and catching, number 28, Daniel Ripple. The Cavaliers are coached by Mike Rogers. Coaches come out and the rest of the Lake Travis Cavalier roster.
Welcome to tonight's game between the Hutto Hippos and the #1 ranked Lake Travis Cavaliers. The home opener for the Hippos baseball team this year. They are 3-3 in district. Gage Ball's on the call. Got beside me my friend Luke. So we're going to call a great baseball game. Apologize for some of the technical difficulties of no video and no scoreboard. Everything just went completely haywire as I was setting up. So starting lineups for the Lake Travis Cavaliers. Playing center field, number 3, Dawson French. Playing first base, number 3, Ethan Calder. Batting third, second baseman, Dylan Slaughterback. Batting fourth, shortstop, Caden Kent. Batting fifth, designated hitter, Cole Johnson. Batting sixth, right fielder, O.J. Gonzalez. Batting seventh, left fielder, number 12, Nick Luna. Batting eighth, third baseman, number 1, Logan Baker. And ninth, catcher, number 28, Daniel Ripple. Starting pitcher is number 11, Pierce George for the Cavaliers. Starting lineup for the Hutto Hippos, playing the starting pitcher and batting first, number 12, Carson Babb. Batting second, center fielder, Caleb Cantwell. Batting third, first baseman, Garrett Boehm. Third baseman, Andrew Ender. Pause for the national anthem, and we'll continue the starting lineups. The national anthem. Batting fifth, catcher number 6, Xander Hall. Batting sixth, right fielder number 4, Hunter Thompson. Batting seventh, left fielder number 3, Levi Fletcher. Batting eighth, second baseman number 5, Jeremy Garcia. And batting ninth, shortstop number 14, Grayson Doggett. Starting pitcher for the Hippos is number 12, Carson Babb. Like I said, Lake Travis comes in number 1 in the state, number 10 in the nation. So this is a great test for the Hippos, but right before they play one of their final tournaments this next weekend before district play starts. Hippos come in a 3-3 record. Lake Travis is 4-0-1 after going that record in the first ever Texas Rangers National High School Showcase. They played about 6 state-ranked teams. So they defeated South Lake Carroll 8-1, Flower Mound 9-6, South Grand Prairie 1-0, Prosper 5-4, and they tied Marcus number 3. They are, according to TexasHighSchoolBaseball.com, the 6A game grade team of the week. When you're playing a game like this, Luke, in a lot of sports, especially like football, whenever you're playing a top-ranked team, you've got to do everything right. You can't make any mistakes. Same thing in baseball, but it's a little different. You have to be patient at the plate. You got to take balls. You have to make every simple play that is hit directly to you or whatever. Any simple play that is created, you can't overthink it and you can't overplay it because that is going to cost you. You can't have errors, and you just have to really be disciplined at the plate. So once again, a great test for the Hippos coming in right before district starts in about a week after their next tournament.
Leading off for the Lake Travis Cavaliers, playing center field, number 3, Dawson French.
Batting now for the Cavaliers, number 3, Dawson French. The pitch fouled back over into the softball field. Counts 0-1. In a little bit, we're gonna talk some about the crazy MLB offseason, some of the major signings and teams who made a big impact in the offseason. The pitch fouled back into the net. Counts 0-2. Lake Travis is just stacked with some talent. Luke, you want to say where some of these players are committed to go play some college baseball at?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and you'll probably struggle to find any other team, across the state with this much collegiate talent. In the Cavaliers starting lineup alone, you've got shortstop Caden Kent, a Texas A&M commit, third baseman Logan Bayer, an East Central University commit, and the starting pitcher Pierce George, a University of Texas commit. They've also got number 2, Alec Grossman, another UT commit, and Ethan Roark, a TCU commit, and Luke Jackson, a Louisiana Lafayette commit. So just tons of talent on this stacked lineup.
Grounded to shortstop Grayson Doggett, thrown over to first baseman Garrett Bohem for the first down of the inning. That's what you got to do whenever you're playing a Lake Travis team or any team that's ranked and as good as they are. You have to make sure you have to make those simple plays that are hit straight to you.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, similar to football, Lake Travis is one of those teams that will just take advantage of any sort of mistake your team makes. And that's why Hutto is going to have to play a near-perfect ball game here.
Pitch taken just outside, 1-0. Down in the dirt. Count is 2 balls and no strikes to Ethan Calder. Pitch and fouled back.
And you know, you really couldn't have asked for a better day for baseball here in Hutto at Hutto Memorial Stadium. Just perfectly sunny weather, slight breeze, great baseball weather if you ask me.
Yes, exactly. Glad to not be doing this out in the freezing cold weather that we had the last couple weeks.
Absolutely.
Last pitch was a strike. Count is 2-2. Lined into the outfield to left fielder Levi Fletcher. One on.
Baseman number 10, Dylan Slaughterback.
One on for the Cavaliers. Up to bat now is number
10, Dylan Slaughterback, the second baseman.
pitch in the dirt. 1-0. It's funny, he's number 10, but his jersey says number 14, so that's why I had a little confusion of who was up to bat, because
yeah, that's something I noticed during pregame that kind of threw me off. I wasn't sure what that was. As he takes a strike right down the middle.
1-1. Ball outside in the dirt. 2-1. Lake Travis is once again one of those teams. They put out MLB and college talent all the time. 2 years ago, they had one of their star players, Brett Beatty, get drafted 12th overall by the New York Mets.
Number 11, I think it may have actually been, I could be wrong, but also going back to that 2019 team that made the state semifinals, you've also got Jimmy Lewis, who at the time was committed to LSU, but ended up signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers and is currently in their minor league system.
Last pitch was inside to make it 3-1, and pitch down outside in the dirt for a walk.
Next up, shortstop, number 6, Caden Kent.
Now batting shortstop, Caden Kent. Mound visit. Xander Hall goes out to Carson Babb to maybe calm his nerves. Playing the #1 team in the state. It's a difficult task coming in for your 7th game of the year. Home opener. Most of those games being played all in one weekend, aside from some scrimmages. And the pitch, and just high. Another mound visit. I'm not sure in high school if there's a mound visit limit like there is in college MLB, but I do know that there is a pitch count limit, but I am not sure what that is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm not entirely sure, but
I think it's somewhere around 60 pitchers, at least early in the year.
And you mentioned how early in the season this is just Hutto's 7th game, and this is no doubt a big test for him. It certainly kind of is going to prepare him for the rigor of a regular season in a very stacked district this season with teams like Round Rock, Stony Point, Vandegrift, and Cedar Ridge, just to name a few.
Pitch caught the corner of the plate for a strike, 1-1. And the pitch from Babb. Hit just the inside corner of the plate for a strike.
2 early strikes on Caden Kent, and as we mentioned earlier, he is a Texas A&M commit, meaning he brings a lot to the table offensively and defensively. He's going to be one of the key players tonight for the Cavs.
Pitch fouled off, races to it, falls in between 2 fielders, foul. 1-2 is the count, 1 out. Runners on first and second. Caden Kent working the count, being disciplined. Credit to Babb this at bat, hitting his spots and going right after him. Also in these games, you have to know where each player's powerhouse is. You have to hit spots, work around the plate for a pitch for a ball, work the ball around the plate, make sure you're not consistently throwing it in the same spot. You have to do that in any game, but whenever you're playing the #1 team in the state, it's especially important.
Very true, and especially good players, they're going to be able to notice those tendencies that pitchers have as Carson Babb strikes out Caden Kent in for the early out, the second out of the inning, I should say.
Now batting, DA.
Now batting, designated hitter number 15, Cole Gonzalez. Two outs.
Breaking ball right down the middle for the early strike. Carson Babb looking to get out of early jam with runners on first and second.
The pitch called for a strike. That looked like maybe a curveball or a slider.
Yeah, it looked like some sort of breaking ball. Carson Babb definitely using that breaking ball early against Cole Johnson.
Tries to do another breaking ball just on the inside of the plate for a ball.
As I mentioned, we've already seen that breaking ball from him a lot, and that could be the key to the game today. His use of that, if the Lake Travis players are able to adapt to seeing that pitch more often.
And a double steal. No throw down. Runners on second and third now for the Cavaliers. On third base will be Ethan Calder, and at second base is Dylan Slaughterback. 2-2. And the pitch. Right down. Grounded to second baseman Jeremy Garcia. Over to first baseman Garrett Boehm for the out. And Carson Babb gets out of an early jam early in the first. Welcome back to Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium. Leading off for the Hippos is pitcher number 12, Carson Babb. Great job in the first inning to get out of an early jam after a couple mound visits. Striking out one and getting 2 ground outs. Pierce George winds up for the pitch. Outside for a ball, 1-0.
And it is not too often, especially at the college and a professional level, that well, I guess you do in the majors, where you see pitchers actually batting on their own, as Babb grounds it to third base. That goes off the bag, and that's going to go as a single.
Good early swinging by Carson Babb, not afraid to try and put a ball in play. Just barely gets it foul.
Center fielder number 2, Caleb Cantwell.
Now batting center fielder number 2, Caleb Cantwell. Pierce George sets, winds up for the pitch for a ball. Cantwell looking like he's going to try and maybe get a squeeze bunt to get Babb over to second base. He was showing bunt. One and 0. Showing bunt again, but pulls back. Ball outside in the dirt. 2-0. We've got to think maybe if there wasn't a limited amount of tickets available for this game, that this might be Hutto's Baseball Stadium doesn't hold a lot, but this would be probably a pretty packed stadium to see the number 1 team ranked in the state.
Absolutely. We got some great competition on hand. Hutto, certainly a quality team, and Lake Travis, we keep saying it, number 1 team in the state, ranked number 10 in the country, so you really can't be that. 2-1 count early.
Bunts, but it fouls back into the net. 2-2. Trying to get that bunt down to get Carson Babb over to second base.
On deck is Garrett Bohm, the Texas Tech commit and first baseman.
And swinging on a ball inside for the strikeout.
Now batting first baseman number 7, Garrett Bain.
Batting first baseman, Garrett Bain. His brother, I know, was the National Power Showcase champion, and I believe Garrett right here has been crowned the National Power Showcase champion. His brother, Gage, has gone on to, I believe, Cisco Junior College, but I'm not for sure about that. The pitch, inside. Bohm has to back out of the way to avoid possibly being hit. 1-0. Swinging miss. Babb steals second on the throw. He probably would have been out, but he dropped the ball. But collision at second base. Looks like, was that number 6?
Number 6, Caden Kent.
Shortstop down. Looks like he could have been is injured. Trainers and coaches going out to check on him.
Kent is up and walking under his own power. That's a good sign, no doubt. Bottom of first inning, 1-1 count on Garrett Bain. Runner on second, that's Carson Babb. 1 out. Game tied 0-0 thus far. Pierce George gets a swing and a miss from Bame. That makes it a 1-2 count. That pitch right down the middle. And a swing and a miss.
Got him with, I'm not sure, that probably was just maybe a changeup on the inside corner or a curveball that.
Now batting third baseman, number 13, Andrew Ender.
Number 13, Andrew Ender coming to the plate. Hippos have a runner in scoring position at second base. Ender will see if he can drive him home.
Yeah, it's these type of chances that whenever you get a guy in scoring position, you've got to capitalize on those chances.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially against, you're going to hear us say it a lot today, the number one team of the state, you got to take every chance you can get. Certainly can't have those missed opportunities.
Lake Travis could be one of those teams that if the Hippos make the playoffs this year, have to face early. So it's sometimes you don't want to face a team at the beginning of the season that you possibly could see early in the playoffs, but a team like this, if you can play them close, you know that you can play with them. It's just then getting over that hump of doing the little things right. So that way, if you do have to face them in the playoffs early, that you know what you've faced before and what they do well, so that you can prepare a little better. Baseball, it's harder to prepare in baseball, fouled back, but there are a lot of things, particularly for baseball, that are good about playing a team like this early that you might have to see in the playoffs early. Over the weekend, Hippos faced 6 teams, but one in particular that stood out to me that I was told about was they played College Station. College Station is just stacked with guys going to A&M, Baylor,
Rice.
multiple guys, Rice, UT. I mean, about half of their starting position players swinging and a miss for a strikeout, and that will end the inning, leaving Babs stranded at second base. We're going to stay right here. Over the weekend, whenever they lost to College Station, but it was a really close game, and that shows how well the Hippo, a 3-3 record early in the year in a tournament, that doesn't do anything for you in regards to hurting your playoff chances. Tournaments are just time to assess your strengths and difficulties. And so playing College Station like that, I think, is definitely going to has helped prepare the Hippos for this game, as they've looked pretty good early on. This is my first time being able to see them this year. But, so we got, because of that College Station game, that is probably looks just like this Lake Travis team. It was a good test even before they came into this game.
Absolutely. You talked about the importance of those tournaments where they really don't have a big effect on your playoff chances or chances of making the playoffs, but they do absolutely prepare your team for later in the season, just to get you ready, get you into the groove of things, and so you know what to expect as the season progresses. We were talking about that tournament for Hutto so far, and excuse me. I'm sorry, Lake Travis's season thus far, we talked about that tournament they did play in at Globe Life Field, home of the Texas Rangers, where they beat teams such as South Lake Carroll, Flower Mound, South Grand Prairie, Prosper, and Flower Mound Marcus, who they tied against. As the top of the second inning gets underway, up for the Cavaliers is number 21, right fielder O.J. Gonzalez. Carson Babb still on the mound for the Hippos. Babb allowed two base runners of the last inning. Eventually both reached scoring position at second and third base, but he was able to get out of a jam. As he delivers a ball to Gonzalez, that was low. Right over the plate, it looked like. Babb from the windup gets a swing and a miss from Gonzalez. Early 1-2 count.
In a little bit, we're going to talk about some of the major offseason moves, particularly from 2 or 3 particular teams that made some major offensive moves that they are going to be a threat in the MLB this year, that their lineups look scary, dangerous, and they're young, very young. So stay tuned for that. Baseball is a great talking sport to talk about pretty much anything outside of the game.
Absolutely. And
swing, hits the outside corner and called for a strikeout.
Now batting for the Cavaliers, number 12, left fielder Nick Luna.
Up to bat now, left fielder Nick Luna.
And talked about what an eventful offseason it was in the Major League Baseball world. You got teams like the Dodgers, Padres, looking like the 2 best teams in baseball maybe, and they're in the same division. So that's going to be a great competition from them this regular season, as spring training has really just gotten underway this past weekend. Nick Luna takes a ball on the first pitch and swings and hits a light grounder to second base. And he reaches base safely.
Had a little miscommunication about who to cover first. Finally, Garrett Bohm, the first baseman, got over there. He tried to looked like maybe the pitcher was going to try and cover, but there was a confusion on that. So just barely beats it out. Not sure if that should be counted as error, but I'm going to count it that's as a single.
Yeah, that's just one of those grounders where, it's a real light, soft grounder. Really hasn't quite reached the infield dirt. Just one of those ones, it's tough. Does a pitcher get it? Does the second baseman? Those are just tough ones to field. As Babb makes a throw to first base. Nick Luna definitely a speed threat when he's on base.
Swinging strike. 0-2. Wait.
0-1.
No, 0-1. Scoreboard hasn't been reset yet. Sets. Tries to do a quick pickoff, moves over. Gets back to the bag.
Number 1, Logan Baker in the box for the Cavaliers. He shows bunt, but takes it back, takes a ball. 1-1 count. Baker, the third baseman, he is an East Central University commit, just one of the many college commits that Lake Travis has on their roster this season. Shows bunt again, takes it back, takes the outside pitch for a ball. 2-1 count. Hutto's catcher able to put a nice block on it, keep it from getting past him, and preventing the wild pitch. Another throw to first base. Luna is safe.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the Lake Travis team. It's really hard to find stats, but I would assume with how many times he's already thrown over that Nick Luna must be a pretty serious stolen base stealer threat.
No
And there he goes. Just as I said that, steal second, pitch off the catcher's
Xander Hall, I think.
Xander Hall's glove. Was able to get to it quickly to avoid any more damage. Runner on second base. The count is 3-1, 1 out to Logan Baker.
Hutto, you can tell they've done their scanner report, know what a threat that Luna is on the base is.
And pitch inside for a walk.
Once again, the Cavaliers have 2 runners on base on first and second. 1 out as the catcher number 28, Daniel Ripple, comes to the plate. And a quick mound visit from Hall to Babb.
This is the first time the Hippos have gotten to play at home, and it's been well close to a year. And you got to, it was awful having to. Last year, the Hippos looked to be so good in baseball. They ended the year 9-10, but they hardly got to get into any district games. And whenever you go 9-10 in all those tournaments that you play, and you end one game under 500, and then your season abruptly ends. I mean, the Hippos had some talent last year, lost a lot of talent, but they got a lot of talent back. Grayson Doggett, starting shortstop, he's been a starter in the infield since his freshman year. He's also the starting quarterback for the Hutto Hippos football team. So, I mean, you got a strong arm over there. You think right now if the Hippos if they can get a grounder to Doggett, that should be a pretty simple double play
at the very least.
I mean, you have Garrett Boehm, I recognize that name.
The Texas Tech commit.
From coming back. He's back. Carson Babb, he might be a senior. I recognize Caleb Cantwell. So the Hippos have a lot of talent that came back, but the talent that they had last year, they lost a lot of guys who went on to play college baseball or was a national champion for Power. So
no question. You know, that's very reminiscent of a University of Texas baseball team last season. When the season was abruptly canceled, they were the record stood at 14-2 as
pitch outside off of Xander Hall's glove. Runners advance second and third base. So
no doubt a lot of question marks from last season for pretty much every college, high school baseball team. A lot of what ifs. Because, you know, when you got a team with all the talent that you're describing like Hutto does, who knows how far they could go into playoffs.
And, you know, thinking about Lake Travis, I saw a thing on Texas high school baseball. That's the main source for high school baseball, at least records. There's not too many stats. For last year, it showed Lake Travis was like 4 games under 500. They were like 6-10 or something like that, 4-10, and swing and a miss for a strikeout.
Down goes Daniel Ripple as Dawson French, number 3, the center fielder, comes to the plate.
Now batting number 3.
Carson Babb looking to get out of another jam. 2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Lake Travis, maybe they got a bunch of guys back from last year that they maybe didn't have, or guys maybe playing as freshmen that they didn't have last year, or maybe they just had some tough tournaments. The windup in the pitch, hits the inside, then it couldn't check his swing for a strike. So, one of those things last year, I mean, teams that normally are good, they didn't do too well, and then the season halted, and teams who looked to be good, that started off pretty good, that were hoping to be well, grounder to
shortstop Grayson Doggett.
Grayson Doggett over to first baseman Garrett Boehm.
And the Hippos get out of a jam early. Another scoreless inning from Cavaliers as we advance to the bottom of the second.
We'll be back right after this.
I didn't mean to, I didn't want to interrupt you. I wasn't sure if you were. Identify him. The Baylor game went to overtime. That was Dawson French who said that, right? Yeah.
Now pitching for the Cavaliers, number 24,
Ethan
Rohr.
Okay, yeah, especially UT. They start in 5 minutes.
Welcome back to Hutto High School Memorial Baseball Field for this great matchup between the Hutto Hippos and the number 1 ranked Lake Travis Cavaliers. Pitching change for the Cavaliers. Number 24, Ethan Roark, will come in and replace Pierce George. It's interesting, in high school baseball, you can come out of the game, but you can also, I believe, you can go in and play other positions. Like, there's a lot of, you can have courtesy runners. You can, for especially like pitchers who are solely pitchers, you don't have a lot of those in high school. But if you have a solely just a pitcher who's not great at batting or good at batting but not a great runner, and you want to make sure he doesn't have a chance of getting injured, you can have courtesy runners. So a lot of things in high school baseball that help the game. Now, it's only good for high school. You wouldn't want to see it in college or MLB, but for high school, it's a great thing with the courtesy runners and being able to move around even once you come out of the game. First pitch to number 6, Xander Hall, was a strike. Second pitch to him was a ball. So 1-1. And the pitch outside. Looks like that was probably a slider. They was trying to catch the outside corner of the plate.
And going back to what you were saying about kind of in high school baseball rule that allows you to leave a game but then re-enter maybe at a different position, I think that's definitely a big thing in high school just because there's not as much specialization at one individual position. It's kind of one of those things where, especially with pitcher Pierce George, you know, not only can he pitch, he can play multiple other positions, as can pretty much every other player on both the Hutto and Lake Travis rosters. And so that rule definitely makes sense in that regard, I feel like.
Pitch straight. The count is 3-2.
Xander Hall at the plate. Ethan Roark on the mound. Roark. There was a pitch swinging. That's a bouncer to second shortstop.
And throws him out. One out.
Now batting right fielder number 4, Hunter Thompson.
Now batting number 4, right fielder Hunter Thompson for the Hippos. On deck is number 3, Levi Fletcher. Ball looks like it was probably a curveball. Leans in for the strike. Swing and a miss on a heater straight down the middle. A quick 0-2 count. That's one thing you cannot do if you're the Hippos. You got to at least foul ball off. You cannot have swing and misses. And swings again. Looks like maybe that was just a changeup that dropped right out of the zone right at the last minute.
And a quick at bat for Hunter Thompson as Levi Fletcher steps into the box, number 3. 2 outs already in the inning thus far.
And Fletcher swinging early, little ground.
The throw
was errant, but he was able to get his foot back on the bag for the 3rd out. We're gonna keep it right here. Yeah, that was a quick inning. That's what you cannot do as the Hippos. You got to take counts, and if you're gonna swing, you got to make. And it's a bad pitch or a bad swing, you got to make sure you can just get enough of it to foul it off and not get just enough of it and have one of those little grounders right out, bounces right out in front of the plate that the catcher or pitcher easily got to, like catcher Daniel Ripple was able to do for the Cavaliers. So
no question, Hutto's going to have to create a lot of opportunities, kind of like you just mentioned, just do whatever they can to make contact and get on base, whether that's through walks, hits, errors. You know, you got to give maximum effort. As Carson Babb stays on the mound for the Hippos as we enter the top of the 3rd inning. And starting off in the inning for the Cavaliers is going to be number 5, first baseman Ethan Calder. We saw him reach base in the first inning on a single to left field.
One of the first major offseason moves in the MLB that we want to talk about is The Blue Jays signing George Springer to a 6-year, $150 million contract. We'll expand on that more in a little bit, but that's going to be the first major off-season MLB news that we're going to have a conversation about. Leading off, Ethan Calder. Carson Babbs still out working on the mound for the Hippos. He's doing a really good job dealing both innings, stranded guys on second and third base.
No question. In both innings, we've seen him bring on a couple base runners early on, but he's able to get out of the inning unscathed.
First pitch to Calder is a ball. Second pitch is another ball. A quick 2-0 count.
And that pitch is fouled off.
And props to the Hutto head coach, Justin Elmore, for making this matchup possible. And props to Lake Travis for being willing to travel here. It's really hard to get pitch, swing, flight out to left fielder. Levi Fletcher.
7 to a plate is number 14, Dylan Slaughterback, second baseman. That's very true. Speaking of Hutto coach Justin Elmore, really just making this matchup happen. It's great for the players. You know, they get to see what what a great quality team looks like. And you know, it's great preparation, as we mentioned, for the rest of the season, because this could easily be one of, if not the toughest opponent on Hutto's schedule this season.
Pitch inside, almost hit him, just barely somehow missed grazing the jersey. 2-0. Yeah, and props to Lake Travis, the players and the coaches being willing to travel here. It's really hard to get, for just a regular game, not in a tournament, to play the #1 team at home if you're not in a tournament or in the playoffs or in district. So hats off to Lake Travis for being willing to travel down here. 3-0. Next pitch, down the middle, right at the knees for a strike. 3-1. The pitch, and he'll walk.
That pitch high and inside. Carson Beck getting up close and personal with Slaughterback that at bat with his pitches. Coming to the plate is number 6 shortstop Caden Kent. The Texas A&M commit struck out in the first inning.
Babb looks like he's watching Slaughterback close. Pitch hits the outside of the outside corner of the plate for a strike.
Caden Kent looking very relaxed in there. You know, that's in my opinion, one of the hardest parts of baseball, just keeping your nerves under control, not letting that mental side affect you and how you play.
Just outside and high for ball 1. It feels so great to be back at a baseball game. Calling my first ever baseball game. Was planning on doing it last year. Throw over to first. Gets back in time. Planning on doing a lot of baseball broadcasts last year, but like we said, season abruptly canceled. So it's great to be back at a baseball stadium, watching some baseball, regardless whether it's high school, college, or professional. Just love being at the baseball stadium during the spring and summer.
No question. Me and you both were able to get our first kind of a taste of in-person baseball this past weekend at the Round Rock Classic, held in Round Rock, Texas, at Dell Diamond, featuring teams such as Oklahoma, Baylor, Auburn, and Texas A&M. And as the Texas A&M swings and misses, that's a 1-2 count. And a runner takes off. No throw, and he'll reach base safely. That's number 14, Dylan Slaughterback.
Once again, third straight inning, as we're in the top of the third inning. Runner gets to second base early in the count. We'll see if Babb is able to work his way out of this. I mean, you got to think at some point the Cavaliers, being as good as they are going to come through with at least one hit to get the scoring going. Next pitch is fouled back at the top of the net. 2-2. And that's what you can't do. You can't constantly, occasionally letting runners get in the scoring position. It's great if you can strain them, but playing a high caliber team, you're not going to be able to strain all of them every single time. So.
And that's what great teams do, as we mentioned earlier. They just find ways to get on base. They find ways to score. And that's what Lake Travis is looking to do right here.
Next pitch, down and outside for a ball. Works the count to a full count again. Wind up, looks back takes his foot off the rubber to look back at the runner at second.
Carson Babb gearing in from a stretch. Payoff pitch coming. Checks the runner, makes a pitch.
Fouled back, right behind home plate. And this at bat right here is a great example of what the Hippos have got to do on offense. At least one batter inning. They've got to work the pitch count up, get into that bullpen. Of course, in high school you don't have like a true bullpen, but get into the Cavaliers bench of whoever they have to put in to normally pitch in relief of their starters. So payoff pitch again coming. Fouled back. 3-2, 1 out, runner on second.
That ball hit hard onto the Hippos hitting facility next to left field. These are some of the most exciting at-bats to watch. You know, there's a lot of suspense, especially if you're the hitter. You know, plenty of foul balls, full count. A lot of tough decision-making comes into swinging or just taking the pitch.
And ball outside for the walk.
Great at-bat there from Kent, showing the patience, you know, waiting for his pitch.
Now batting DH, number 15, Cole Johnson.
Cole Johnson, the DH, up to bat now for the Cavaliers.
Runners on first and second for the Cavaliers. Pitch from Babb.
And liner straight. Going to split the gap between the center fielder and right fielder. At least one run's going to score.
Slaughterback races home. Kent holds up at third. If that's going to be a double, Cole Johnson, number 15. If that's going to get the scoring started, 1-0 Lake Travis. And Cole Johnson, you know, placed that ball perfectly where neither of a center fielder or a right fielder really had a chance to make a play on the ball. That went all the way to the fence. Great hit.
Now, having a hitter's timeout. Within just the last couple of years, at least in college, I think maybe in high school it's been this way all the time, but you get a certain amount of offensive timeouts for the coach and the third base coach and the hitter to have a conversation about what to do or how to play the next at bat. So with runners on second and third, talking right there about strategy, whether he should maybe try and bunt him home or just get a sac fly just deep enough to be able to score. Number 6, Caden Kent from third.
And like you just said, you know, we've seen Lake Travis with runners on second and third attempt bunting. That could be what we're about to see here. As that pitch is delivered right down the middle, breaking ball, making it a 0-2 count early on. In the box, number 21, right fielder O.J. Gonzalez. That pitch right above his head for a ball. 1-2 count. Pitch from Babb. And the hit. Gets past the second baseman. That goes to the center fielder. Caden Kent scores, racing home. Cole Johnson.
And he's going to be out at home plate.
Great throw from his center fielder there.
Number 15, Cole Johnson, trying to stretch something that maybe he shouldn't have tried to do. Probably should have just held up at third base, but that's good for the Hippos. They allow a run, but they're gonna.
Left fielder number 12, Nick Luna.
Nick Luna, number 12, left fielder, stepping into the box. Had a single early on. We'll see what he can do here. He fouls out, pitch off. And the Cavs have a runner on first, O.J. Gonzalez.
Oh, the Cavaliers did not score. Did they score a run on that?
They did. I believe it's a scoreboard error because Hutto didn't score.
Yeah.
Kent scored.
Kent was scored and Johnson thrown out at.
Luna gearing up in the box. Babb checks the runner. Gonzalez at first. Here's a pitch that's outside, low and outside. 1-1 count.
Working from the stretch is Babb. Winds up in the pitch. Just high.
Taken for a ball. On deck for Lake Travis, number 1, the third baseman, Logan Baker. 1 out so far. In a hole, catcher number 28, Daniel Ripple.
Line foul down the third base line. Baker steps back in.
Runner takes off, Gonzalez.
And a foul off the catcher. Couldn't find the ball, but throw down to first, and he'll be out.
That's going to end the inning for the Hippos. Strikeout from Luna. As we head to the top of the fourth. Or bottom of the third, excuse me. Cavaliers lead 2-0.
Be right back.
I didn't mean to interrupt you at times. He had the single? Yeah, that got past the second baseman. And then Johnson had the double. And Luna struck out.
If you had the second, oh yeah.
I wish we had one of these from the cup. I kind of. I was gonna say I'm also kind of keeping track with the PA guys.
I mean, it's not gonna stay up long.
Can I send it to myself?
Welcome back to Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium. As the Lake Travis Cavaliers lead the Hippos 2-0. Going into the bottom of the third inning. Recap of the last inning. Ethan Calder led off with a fly out to right field. Dylan Slaughterback walked, stole a base, and then ended up coming around to score. Caden Kent also walked, came around and scored. Cole Johnson got a double, and then O.J. Gonzalez hit a single that split between the second baseman and shortstop. And Cole Johnson tried to extend going from second all the way to home, but he was thrown out at home plate for the second out of the inning. And then Nick Luna struck out to end the inning.
Bottom of the third for the Hippos, number 5, Jeremy Garcia.
Number 5, Jeremy Garcia stepping into the box for the Hippos.
Mound visit.
Pitcher's number 21, Ethan Calder, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Getting a visit from catcher number 28, Daniel Ripple.
pitch. And he's going to curve in, catch the middle of the plate for a strike, 0-1.
On deck for the Hippos, number 14 shortstop Grayson Doggett.
Checked his Jeremy Garcia checked his swing. Had to go down to the first base umpire to see if he checked in. He did hold up. So 1-1. The pitch just maybe a little low on the outside corner. Just barely catches the bottom and outside corner of the plate for a strike.
1-2 count early on. There's a pitch.
And a swing and a miss at a high fastball.
And
Now batting shortstop,
Doggett steps
number
into the box.
14, Grayson Doggett.
First pitch is a strike, low, just over a plate, breaking ball, 0-1 count. Pitch from Calder, another strike, breaking ball, right down the middle.
0-2, early count. Hippos have not done bad on on the pitching part. Grayson Doggett quickly strikes out a 3-pitch strikeout.
Great pitching thus far from Lake Travis pitching.
And really it hasn't been that bad for the Hippos either. They've just gotten where every inning they've gotten a guy on. They've allowed Lake Travis to get a guy on second and third, and they did a great job in the first and second inning of stranding them with 1 out whenever they got on the base. But just like we said, number 1 team, you're not going to be able to do that for the whole game. First pitch is to Bab is a ball, low outside in the dirt. Next pitch is a strike, swinging. I believe still pitching for the Cavaliers is number 24, Ethan Roark. And hit by pitch.
Carson Babb finds his way on base. Hippos have a base runner, bottom of a third.
Now batting center fielder, number 2, Caleb Cantwell.
Up to bat, number 2, Caleb Cantwell, playing center field. Last at bat, he struck out. So he's 0 for 1. Carson Babb is now 1 for 1. First inning had a single, and pitch is fouled back.
Onto the softball
0
field.
1. And a hit by pitch does not count as an official at bat, so Babb, that's why Babb is 1 and 1. Babb also stole a base in the first inning.
You know, he's got to be the player of the game so far. Pitching, a decent game for the Hutto. 1-1 thus far with his stolen base. Can't beat that, right?
Swing and a miss on the next pitch.
Oh, 2 count early on for Cantwell. 2 outs in the inning.
And next pitch just outside. Lake Travis fans and players wanted it to be called a strike.
Good take by Cantwell there, keeping the at-bat alive.
That's a hard pitch to lay off, especially on the outside from a right-handed pitcher. As a right-handed batter, it's looking like it's going to be just where you can reach, and then at the last second it's going to drop out. And once again, another hard layoff on the outside corner of the plate. 2-2.
Lake Travis players are one that called, but a good pitch and a really even better take, as you mentioned. Those are just real tough pitches for a batter, but great control so far from Roark. TCU commit.
Another pitch, low. That looked like it probably was like right down in the middle of the strike zone, but just low. 3-2. Good job by Cantwell going from an early 0-2 count to working a full count. That's exactly what you got to do if you're the Hippos when they're on offense.
Full count, 2 outs, so maybe see a stolen base attempt, and yep,
and
A hit and run.
ground ball. Third baseman, number
Logan
one,
Baker.
Logan Baker.
To end the
That
inning.
will end the inning. We're going to keep it here, and we're going to talk about George Springer signing with the Blue Jays in just a couple moments. Welcome back to Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium. So, talking about George Springer signing that monster 6-year, $150 million contract with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, they already had a young, stacked lineup. Last year, they made the playoffs after not being in the playoffs since 2016, I believe, maybe 2015. In that crazy series with the Rangers, I think was maybe the last time they were in the playoffs before last year.
Back with Jose Bautista.
When Jose Bautista had that magnificent home run and bat flip. So the Blue Jays, they were in a rebuilding phase, but then they drafted very well. Drafted Kevin Biggio, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They traded for some guys.
Bo Bichette.
And then so they had a young roster, and they needed this. They needed a veteran player, particularly the outfield, I believe. And they went out, and it was really the Astros had no chance of re-signing Springer. They just didn't have the money. Springer kind of wanted to move on, maybe start fresh after the whole Cuting scandal from 2017. And so Springer went out and wanted a lot of money, which he deserved. He proved that he deserved the amount of money that he got. And so it was really a race between the Blue Jays and Mets for a couple months of who was going to get him. At times, a lot of people thought that the Mets were going to sign him. At times, we thought that then the Blue Jays were going to sign him. And then the news broke. Blue Jays were signing him to a 6-year, $150 million contract. And George Springer is now happily a Toronto Blue Jay. So best of luck to him. I'm an Astros fan. I know if you're watching, you might say why, but I'm an Astros fan. I've been my whole life. And Astros fans deeply miss him. It's a big loss for the Astros, but it's a great gain for the Blue Jays. And that lineup looks very scary. And they look a lot like the 2017, 18, and 19 Astros roster when they made the World Series twice and ALCS appearances in 4 straight years. And so the scary thing is they're even younger than the Astros lineup was.
Yeah.
So the Blue Jays, I think, are a big threat to the Yankees and Rays. Leading off for
Lake Travis, number 1 third baseman Logan Baker. Into the previous inning. Easy play to first.
First pitch was a ball. And another ball in the dirt. Catcher couldn't make the play, but doesn't matter. No one was on base. 2-0.
And it's also worth noting that this is Hutto's first season as a 6A school. Recently moved up from a 5A level, one of the smallest 6A schools in the state. But, in nearly all of your sports this season, basketball,
Basketball made
football,
a great run. They
volleyball.
were just as good as they were last year, but they just came up against a tough San Antonio Clark team last Thursday night. So now we're here broadcasting baseball, and couldn't be happier. So
Hutto Athletics definitely shown they can compete at the 6A level after just moving up.
3-1. The count to Baker, and payoff pitch is a ball.
Low and inside.
So he'll walk.
Stepping into the box for the Cavaliers, number 28, Daniel Ripple, the catcher.
Catcher, number 28, Daniel Ripple.
If there's anything that has cost the Hippos so far on the defensive side pitching is the walks. They walked one guy in the first. They walked a guy in the second. And they walked 2 guys in the third, and then after that is when they just got 2 key hits to bring around 2 runs. And now, so far leading off, they've walked another batter. So it looks like, I feel like if the Hippos could clean up, letting the count get deep and the batters working and eventually walking, the Hippos have a good chance in this game still. They're not out of it. Top of the 4th. High school baseball is 7 so time is going to start running out soon, but so far, the Hippos have done very well.
A lot of baseball still to be played, and as Ripple attempts a bunt. We've seen a lot of that out of Lake Travis this game thus far, you know, trying to attempt those sacrifice bunts. Haven't gotten one to go yet as Ripple lines out to right field. That's going to go as a single. Baker holds tied at second. And early on, Lake Travis has 2 runners on base, 0 outs. You know, there is kind of a belief within baseball, you know, leadoff walks like we saw to Baker kind of lead to big, you know, scoring runs for the hitting team. We'll see if that holds true here, as we got a pinch runner on first. We'll see who that is. And submitting into the box is a Cavaliers leadoff hit, or center fielder number 3, Dawson French.
French so far is 0-2, grounded out both times to the shortstop, Grayson Doggett. If he can do that again, once again here, Hippos have a chance to have an easy double play. So
triple play, who knows?
What the Hippos can't do right here is with a runner on first and second, is they cannot shift too much, and they cannot try and look like that they're going to have Grayson go over cover second to try and pick him off, and quickly go back to like you see a lot of players do nowadays. And then as he's doing that, the pitch comes and he splits it right in between. Foul back behind us. 1-1.
There's a new pitcher. Number 1. Pitcher checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch. And a bunt.
Back into the screen. 1-2. New pitcher for the Hippos is number 1.
That's Justin Payne Cribs, if I'm reading that correctly. Carson Babb taken out of a game. So Payne Cribs in a jam early on. Runners on second and first. 0 outs. Dawson French at the plate. 1-2 count. 2-0 ball game. Lake
Checks
Travis.
the runner at second. And just outside. Good call by the home plate umpire. We're right behind home plate, and I was able to tell that was closer to hitting the inside batter's box for a left-handed batter. So good call.
And that pinch runner coming into the game for Daniel Ripple is number 9, Cole Carroll at first base. Here's
line to center fielder for the out.
That one really, off the bat, that looked like a single. Very well hit ball, but played well by center fielder. That's number 2. For Hutto, number 2, Caleb Cantwell.
Now batting first baseman.
And Hippos have their first out of inning. Stepping into the box, number 5, first baseman Ethan Calder. The lefty. Shortstop Grayson Doggett holding on to runner at second, Logan Baker.
Double steal attempt going, goes to third, and maybe he's called out. That's a great play by the Hippos to catch the double steal and go to third, make the risk to go to third, and if you overthrow that, that's at least 1 run, because there's no one near that where that ball would be going. That'd be going in deep foul territory where it's at least 100 feet for the next available player to get to. So great risk by the Hippos, and it pays off.
That's a fantastic throw from the catcher, Xander Hall. Can't make a better throw than that. To the third baseman, that's Andrew Ender. Xander to Ender.
Baker caught stealing. Daniel Ripple should get credited with the stolen base.
At second is Cole Carroll, the pinch runner. Taking big lead.
And grounded straight to the first baseman, Garrett Boehm, for the out. Great job once again by the Hippos to get out of that inning with early runners on first and second with no outs. So
Hippos get out of the inning unscathed. Great job.
That's the third time. I mean, the only reason this game is not scoreless is Cavaliers were able to work the count back in the third inning and get 2 timely hits, and the deep part of the outfield that split the gap. So, I mean, this is a great ball game. So you gotta credit the Hippos for playing this well, even though they were down 2-0. You kind of feel like it should be 0-0. So
Hippos staying in the game so far as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Hippos have 4 more chances to tie this game up or take the lead. Cavaliers lead 2-0.
second point, a second major offseason move with Michael Brantley. It was right after the news broke that George Springer would sign with the Blue Jays that it was reported by multiple trusted sources that Michael Brantley was also signing with the Blue Jays. But then, like less than 24 hours later, it was reported that was false and that he would be re-signing with the Astros. So that was one of the only things that the Astros did in the offseason. But a great move by the Astros to somehow Michael Brantley, somehow that news got out and it was false and turned a lot of heads. Like, how's this happen? But good as an Astros fan to have Michael Brantley back because the Astros desperately needed someone after losing George Springer. So,
as a first baseman, number 7, Garrett Bame lines that into the gap, right center field. He's going to head for he's going to hold up at first.
Rounds first.
Great
Just
hit.
was barely able to be cut off by right fielder O.J. Gonzalez.
Number 13, Andrew.
Otherwise, that could have gone all the way out to hit the fence after splitting the gap.
And Bame was thinking he had a double there. He really had to turn back on him at the last second. Hold at first. Stepping into the box, number 13, that's Andrew Ender, third baseman. Saw him make that great tag on the to catch runner stealing.
Oh, and the Hippo,
That ball's grounded to short. Cavaliers pull the double play perfectly.
Andrew Ender didn't even take a pitch, took the first pitch, grounds it.
Grounds it to Kent. Makes a throw to the second baseman, that's Dylan Slaughterback. And then to first, that's Ethan Calder. Textbook double play.
6-4-3.
Now at bat, catcher Xander Hall.
So what rally the Hippos would have maybe had is now quickly put away.
That first pitch outside for a ball taken.
And it's going to ground shortstop. Throws over to the first baseman.
That's Caden Kent.
Caden Kent.
So nice play again.
A quick inning for the Hippos after what hoped to be maybe a promising inning for the Hippos, and Hippos don't get anything. So we've come to the end of the 4th inning, and Lake Travis leads 2-0. We'll be right back.
Still on Justin Payne Cripps. Justin Pena Cripps, excuse me. And going back to what you were saying about the Michael Brantley trade, you know, at first, when the news was first reported, it looked like he was going to be joining Springer in Toronto with the Blue Jays, but instead he decided to stay put in Houston. And, you know, in my opinion, he may be considered, you know, old by MLB standards, but by baseball standards. I think, if you ask me, he's one of the best hitters in the game, really, you know, when it comes to hitting for average.
Yeah, he's patient. He draws counts, and he's not necessarily a power hitter, but whenever he gets one in his wheelhouse, he can make you pay. So
played great as an Indian in Cleveland. Traded to Houston in 2018, 2019, I believe. And,
I believe his first year was 2019.
Okay, yeah. And
so the offseason of the 2018-2019 year, I think he was signed as a free agent.
That trade definitely paying off for Houston. Got one of the most reliable left fielders in the game. as we enter the top of fifth inning. Lake Travis leads 2-0. Not much going for the Hippos thus far, but defensively, pitching-wise, they have been able to get out of a couple jams.
Next MLB offseason news. The Rangers really is going through a complete rebuild, even though they won't say that they are, as they traded away their final player from the 2010 and 2011 World Series team, Elvis Andrus, traded him to the Oakland Athletics and division rival for Chris Davis, power-hitting Chris Davis. But that was a head-scratching trade. I mean, Elvis Andrus was reliable. Chris Davis, he used to be really good.
Great
but
power hitter.
The last few years, he's just been off. Other than whenever they play, it seemed like the Rangers and the Astros. First pitch to
that's Dylan Slaughterback, the second baseman.
Dylan Slaughterback to start out the top of the fifth inning. He's going to be fouled back. 0-1. So kind of a head-scratching move by the Rangers to trade Elvis Andrus for Chris Davis, especially in that new Rangers ballpark. That it plays big, especially if the roof is closed. It is hard. Ground ball to second baseman.
Can't handle the grounder. That's going to go as a single. That's a tough
Second
play
baseman,
regardless.
Jeremy Garcia. That was hit right in the gap between shortstop and second baseman. He was able to get his glove on it, but just not able to completely get it in his glove to be able to transfer it to his hands. So it's going to go down. Should go down, I would think, as a single, but it could go as an error. They really don't keep track of errors and stuff in high school. So we're going to count it as a single.
Stepping up to the plate, that's number 6, Caden Kent, the shortstop. Justin Pena-Cripps making the throw to first baseman Garrett Bain, trying to hold on Slaughterback. Evidently, Cavaliers bring a lot to the table when it comes to base stealing. Great base runners on this squad. Kent
swing and foul tip back into the catcher's glove. Dropped it, but it was tipped. 0-2 is the count.
Kent takes that one for a ball in the dirt.
Kent is 0 for 0 on the night. 2 walks. His first at bat, first inning, he was advanced to second base, but would be left on base. And his last at bat in the third inning, he would steal a base to get to second, and then he was brought around to score. So,
and called strike right there. That makes it a 1-2 count. Justin Pena-Cripps so far holding his own against this Lake Travis lineup, as that's
fouled straight up.
Popped
straight up. And a miscommunication between the catcher, Xander Hall, and the pitcher. And
those are the toughest plays. No one calls the ball, and that just lands right between them. Looked like that was kind of between the catcher, Xander Hall, and Pena-Cripps, the pitcher.
That one you've got to think is going to be considered an error, maybe.
Absolutely, and now Lake Travis, runners on first and second, as Cole Johnson, the designated hitter, steps into the box. Certainly is a big frame in the box. He's known to be a big power guy in this lineup. Second baseman Jeremy Garcia trying to hold the runner on at second.
Fouled back. No outs, and Hippos once again in danger with guys on first and second. But really, whenever the Cavaliers are up 2-0, and that was just that one inning. Every inning, the Cavaliers have gotten guys on either first or second and third. But they've only had one inning. That was the third inning that they've come through with hits in those moments.
So far, kind of like you were saying, Hutto's done a great job
It's going to be
holding runners
popped
on.
up into the outfield, and it will be called off by the right fielder, number
4.
Hunter Thompson.
And Slaughterback's going to hang tight at second. No sack fly there. Coming into the box, number 21, O.J. Gonzalez. He had a big double back in the third inning that just kind of started that scoring run that the Cavs had. One out here in the top of the fifth. Lake Travis leads 2-0. Pena Cribs checking the runner, being held on by Jeremy Garcia. There's a pitch right down the middle for a strike. 0-1 count. One out here in the top of the fifth.
O.J. Gonzalez has come up in every inning except the fourth. He's 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and a single.
Pena checks the runner again at second. Here's the throw.
Fouled back. 0-2. His last at bat, he got a single and was stranded at first. Both of his strikeouts have been caught looking.
Payoff pitch here from Pena Cripps. Really checking that runner at second. Here's the pitch.
Down in the dirt. Good stop by catcher Xander Hall.
Looking to make him chase that pitch. Certainly a pitcher's count thus far. There's a throw fouled off right field into the softball field.
1-2. One out. Runners on first and second. That last fly out really is key because a ground out here should end the inning.
Runners on first and second. Hutto has a great opportunity for a double play, and as Gage said, to end the inning.
He sets with the pitch and going to be fouled back again.
1-2 count. In local college baseball news, Texas leads Texas A&M Corpus Christi 4-0 in the top of the second. Big first inning for the Longhorns. Texas A&M in the top of the third leads Houston Baptist. TCU is tied with Stephen F. Austin in the top of the third. And Baylor is tied with Sam Houston State 0-0, top of the third.
Fly ball. It's going to be just foul. Right fielder number 4, Hunter Thompson, tries to lay out for it. Thank goodness it was in foul territory because
that could have been trouble for the
that would have been
Hippos.
trouble if it would have been fair and it got past him more. And thank goodness it didn't hit his glove even in foul territory because it would have been a no, it would not have been a fair ball. But
great effort regardless. And to finish off the college baseball scores, TCU is tied with Stephen F. Austin 0-0.
the pitch counts 1-2.
Ooh.
Grounded to shortstop Grayson Doggett.
Wow.
Steps on second base, throws it over to first baseman Garrett Bohm for the double play. And once again, Hippos are lucky to keep this game at 2-0 going to the bottom of the fifth inning as
that's exactly what Hutto needed right there to get out of a jam. Ball went right over the pitcher's mound.
O.J. Gonzalez grounds into a 6-4-3 double play.
Grayson Doggett taking that one himself, just stepping on the second base, making a throw to first to Bohm.
That count stayed at 1-2 for the longest time. Good job by O.J. Gonzalez to keep fouling balls off and keep working the Hippos pitcher.
Ethan Roark, TC commit, staying in the game for Lake Travis, number 21. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Game is tied, or excuse me, Lake Travis leads 2-0.
Next news, MLB news, several things are going to be about the Padres' massive offseason. The most recent signing Fernando Tatis to a 14-year, $340 million contract. And just to note, Fernando Tatis has only played in 143 career games. That shows how much they believe in Fernando Tatis and how much he showed already that he is going to be a superstar
Absolutely.
in the years to come. And I'm not normally for the big 12, 13-year contracts like Giancarlo Stanton has gotten with the Yankees and Mike Trout with the Angels. As good as Mike Trout is, and the money that he got, he's worth. But the contract length, I don't. Because the guys that have been in the league for already 6, 7, 8 years that are getting these big contracts, like Mookie Betts, 12 years, $300-something million with the Dodgers. He's already been in the league for 6 years about. So that's why I feel the Fernando Tatis 14-year deal after he's only been in the league for 2 years is a great deal for him and the Padres because he's still young and he still has many years to play and he hasn't been in the league very long to make that deal risky. First pitch to
Hunter Thompson, the outfielder.
It was a strike. No, a ball.
Second
pitch
fouled
back into the net. Count is 1-1.
Another guy to keep in mind, or kind of relating to what you said about these, over 10-year contracts, is Albert Pujols back in the day when he got his deal with the Angels.
He had already been in the league, I don't know how many years, at least 9.
And,
9, 10 years, and
he's
probably even longer than that because back in 2004, strikeout, Hunter Thompson strikes out.
Now batting left fielder number 3.
And Pujols, at least, 38, 39 years old, still has 2 or 3 years left on his contract. He's got a lot of playing time left. So these players, if they stick with the contract, they'll be playing into their 40s at least.
He'll be 2036, I believe, is what I read when Fernando Tatis's contract is ended. Levi Fletcher steps into the box. Pitch to him. It's called for a strike.
Pitch from Roark.
And pitch outside, but he tries to check his swing, but he goes around for strike 2. Oh, and 2 is the count. Roark with the windup. Inside. Has to bend out of the way a little bit just to make sure he doesn't get hit. 1-2.
Great pitching we've seen from Roark so far. Taking over for Pierce Storage. Following 2 innings from him, really keeping the Hutto bat silent so far. That pitch is fouled off into the softball field. Still a 1-2 count with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Both teams have done a great job of fouling off tough pitches and holding back on not swinging on other tough pitches. So hats off to both hitters. I mean, both teams' hitters. And that's going to be low, grounded to third baseman. Over to the first baseman.
Logan Baker making the throw to first. Great defense on the Cavaliers so far. No errors, really. Stepping into the box is number 5 for Hippos. That's Jeremy Garcia, the second baseman.
Hippos is only 2 hits on the night. They have drawn a couple walks or a couple hit by pitches, so they've had base runners, but they haven't been able to do anything to get them into scoring position.
As Garcia checks the swing, that's going to be called a strike. Foul ball there.
Fouled off the hands, up by the hands. 0-2.
And you're definitely correct about Hutto. They've gotten on base a couple times, but really can't do anything with them. Just nothing going so far. Roark's pitch.
And
that's grounded, a bouncer.
But
shortstop Katie Kent.
It's going to be just the right speed for the shortstop to be able to get over, grab it, and throw it over to first base for the out. Now we'll end the inning. We've come to the end of the 5th inning. The Lake Travis Cavaliers lead the Hutto Hippos 2-0. We'll be right back.
I shouldn't have showed you when I did, but Klubnik, I didn't mean to show you while you were talking. Yeah, that's neat. remember when he announced it, though, he had said something about, like, how he had a good relationship with the coaches. Where did you think he was going? Texas? I guess Texas would make sense with the other guys that Travis has, or Westlake.
Welcome back to Hutto Memorial Baseball Field for getting ready to start the top of the 6th inning.
Warming up in the mound for the Cavaliers, number 4, Jack Litowitz, the Mars Hill University commit. We may see him later on in the game taking over for Roark in relief.
Yeah, and speaking of the Hippos being able to get a couple hits and batters on, but knowing nothing with it, we said at the beginning you cannot strike out, you cannot have quick at-bats against this team. Hippos have done just that. They've had 7 strikeouts so far. So, not doing – when they strike on those at-bats that they strike out, they're not being too disciplined, very well disciplined. So, they don't have a lot of time left to clean that up. But only down 2 runs, but that doesn't look like much. But whenever you're playing the number 1 team, that can feel like it's a lot.
Stepping into the box for the Cavaliers, that is
Now batting number 19, Kyle Rader.
number 19, Kyle Rader, Garden City Community College commit.
I think he's pinch hitting for Nick Luna. Is that right?
I believe so. That's true. Pitch from Pena Cripps.
And it's going to be going to drop in front of the center fielder for a single.
Jumping right in front of that center fielder, number 2.
Now batting number 7, Austin Reed.
Down to box, number 7, Austin Reed, pinch hitting for Logan Baker, third baseman. And early on, the Cavaliers have a base runner on first. 0 outs. Pitch.
Shows bunt, but pulls back for a ball.
One 0 count to Reed.
The pitch for us going to be a called strike. That looked like it was right on the outside, on the verge of that could have been a ball.
Couple pinch runners or pinch hitters and pinch runners so far for Lake Travis.
Bunts. Pitcher picks it up, throws it over to first,
Gets the out.
to Garrett Boehm, and takes a minute for him to call it, but they finally say that he's out. So
Throw came just in time for the out.
Catcher,
Give a speedy
number 28,
Reed.
Daniel Ripple.
sack bunt.
Stepping up to a plate for Lake Travis, number 28, the catcher Daniel Ripple. Cavaliers with his sack bunt get a runner on second, 1 out. Ripple has 1 hit already thus far.
Going back to the Fernando Tatis contract, just to note, the Mets will still be paying Bobby Bonilla for a year after Fernando Tatis' contract ends.
What a crazy stat, you know. You already mentioned that, you know, Tatis, that contract's going till what?
2036, I believe. And the Mets will still be paying Bobby Bonilla. I don't know too much about it. All I know is the Mets maybe made a really bad decision whenever they signed him to that contract, and what Bobby Bonilla was able to do with his contract is really amazing. Still being paid after he hasn't been in the league for many years. I don't know when he retired. Probably way before I was born or old enough to remember him.
That kind of shows the magnitude of a contract, you know. He's before our time. He's before we could really, you know, watching baseball seriously. 1-0 count on Ripple. Grounds out to the third baseman.
Throws over to first baseman. Garrett Boehm tries to, then quickly throws it over to second base. Tries to get him second base guy at second out, which would have been Kyle Rader. But good play by third baseman
Number 3, center fielder Dawson French.
Andrew Ender. Excuse me while I'm trying to still figure out all these players. First time I've gotten to see them. Don't know these players too well for the Hippos or Cavaliers. So that's why those long pauses whenever I'm trying to find what player is which.
Now batting for Lake Travis, number 3 Dawson French, center fielder. The leadoff hitter for the Cavaliers. And he fouls that one off early on, 0-1 count. Pena Cripps, he's looking to do what he's done multiple times thus far, get out of a jam. 2 outs so far, runner in scoring position.
The pitch. Checks the runner at second in the pitch. It's going to be lined to center field.
That's caught for the out and to end the inning in the threat.
By Caleb Cantwell makes the out. Once again, great job by the Hippos getting out of the inning. Their defense and pitching is keeping them in this game, but the offense has been able to do nothing.
Yeah,
we'll be right back to talk about another Padres offseason move.
Yeah, this is that Littlewitz guy, number 4.
Welcome back to Hutto Memorial Baseball Field for this matchup between the Hutto Hippos and number 1 Lake Travis Cavaliers. Fixing to be heading into the bottom of the 6th inning. Next move that the Padres made in the offseason, like we said, had a massive offseason in trades, free agent signings, contract extensions. Their next one is simply just they acquired Joe Musgrove in a trade with the Pirates. I believe that was a maybe 3 or 4 team trade, and really that trade was just to help bolster their starting rotation and bullpen. Which you looked at their starting rotation earlier. The only reason I believe they lost to the Dodgers in the NLDS this last year in 2020 is because right at the end of the season, basically every single one of the Padres starters had some sort of injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the Padres would have won the World Series in 2020, or at least been in it for the NL, had they not had starting rotation injuries. So on top of Joe Musgrove was just acquired, adding to a amazing starting rotation with Cedar Park native
Chris Paddock.
I don't know all of them right off the top of my head, but the Padres have a great starting rotation, and Joe Musgrove just adds to that where he can start or he can come out of the bullpen either way. So just add another fantastic pitcher for the Padres.
Grayson Doggett up to bat for Hutto, number 14 is shortstop. And, also with the Padres, you can't forget both Blake Snell and Yu Darvish.
Yep, that's another one. They acquired Yu Darvish, who was runner-up for the NL Cy Young last year, and also Victor Caratini, a catcher from the Cubs. So they got Victor Caratini. You may not recognize that name, but he was definitely an underappreciated guy for the Cubs.
And that's big, with getting Yu Darvish from the Cubs as well. That's good to kind of keep that,
chemistry
player
together.
Catcher. Yeah, chemistry, that connection alive.
And Grayson Doggett, you're going to fly out to the right fielder.
Flies out to right fielder O.J. Gonzalez. Hard hit ball, just Gonzalez really didn't have to move much for that one. Just kind of your basic fly out. Carson Babb, number 12, stepping to the plate.
Number 12, Carson Babb.
Starting pitcher of a Hippos this game, and he had a solid outing, only 2 earned runs. Got out of a lot of jams early on, and he's got a hit and a stolen base to add to that.
and a hit by pitch too. So he's been on base both times, but he's only 1 for 1 on the night. So takes the first pitch for a ball.
Second pitch is a ball as well, high and outside, just off the plate. Swing and a miss at that one. That breaking ball really got him twisted up, quite literally. Almost falling to his knee, Adrian Beltre style. 2-1 count. Takes out
Pitch for a strike.
right down the middle.
2-2. Down in the dirt. Full count.
Good take there. That one, you know, depending on your umpire, it looked like that could have gone either way. Full count, 1 out.
Fouls it off. An awkward swing.
Lucky to make contact with that one, keep the at-bat alive. We got 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Lake Travis leads 2-0 at Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium.
Full count. The pitch. It's going to be grounded to shortstop. And
That's
the throw
Caden
over to
Kent.
first base is just barely beats Babb over there.
Caden Kent made a lot of, you know, tough plays, just like so easy, you know, very smooth infielder.
Now batting number 2, center fielder, Caleb Cantwell.
Number 2, Caleb Cantwell, the center fielder, 7 to the plate.
Another move the Padres made in the offseason. Just a second. The pitch. Outside for a ball.
Jack Lidowitz, the reliever, he's had a smooth inning thus far. See if he can keep it going.
The Padres are able to sign one of the most chased infielders. I believe he came from either Korea or Japan. And infielder, Ha Seong Kim. I have no idea if that's how you say his name, but that is the best way that we know how to say it. Ooh,
That
fly hit. Is it gonna be able to split the gap? Nope. And Lake Travis's outfielders are able to cover almost everything. It is hard to split the gap between. Theirs have multiple, and that's gonna end the inning. But they've had multiple. Hippos have had multiple solid contacts like that one, that have just Lake Travis outfielders have been able to cover the ground to make it up. So we are at the end of the bottom of the 6th. We're going to keep it here, continue to talk about some off-season moves in the MLB. So the Padres are able to sign. They were able to beat out everyone else that put in offers to him. He's one of the most chased players. Infielder Ha Sung Kim to a 4-year deal. So they bolstered their infield again already with a fantastic infield with Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis,
Eric
Hosmer, and then second base, it was moved around between Jurickson Pro, was it? It was his rookie season last year, but
Jake Cronenworth.
Jake Cronenworth.
Great season for a rookie.
And the Padres, another shocking move is they acquired Blake Snell from the Rays. And once again, like I said, I believe the Padres would have won the World Series, at least made it, had their starting rotation not been depleted with injuries in the NLDS, because they had the Dodgers on the verge in Game 5 of winning that series, even with a depleted pitching. So, and once again, Blake Snell, the Rays would have beat the Dodgers if their manager would have left Blake Snell in. And Blake Snell, we all knew it on TV whenever we were watching that he was upset and that was a really bad one to pull him. And the 6th inning when he was dealing, his pitch count was not high. But you got to think, that is how the Rays played all year. But you've got to think, a Game 7, you have a chance to win the World Series. You kind of maybe, if your pitcher is dealing, and he has like 60-something pitchers like he did, you've got to keep him in. So you've got to think maybe Blake Snell maybe wanted out for that reason. And Padres were a great team, or a great team for him to have been able to go to. So once again, Padres
making a lot of big moves this offseason. It seems like all the pieces of a puzzle are there. You know, they're looking to return.
Padres, everyone thinks the Dodgers are still going to be the team to beat in the NL West.
Dodgers did acquire Trevor Bauer.
I don't think people are giving the Padres enough credit for what they're about to be able to do in the NL West and competing with the Dodgers.
That's Ethan Calder, the first baseman, lines out to left field. That's left fielder number 3, makes a fly out, makes a catch. And now coming to bat for the Cavaliers, number 14, second baseman Dylan Slaughterback. My mistake on that previous play, that ball was not caught, actually. So that's it's going to go as a single for Calder. He's at first. And he's going to try to steal. We got the hit and run there. Third baseman fields it, makes a throw.
To Garrett Boehm for the out.
Runner on second, Calder.
Gonna advance Calder to second.
Number 6.
That's going to be, it's going to go as a fielder's choice, I believe, because he could have gotten the guy at second out, but chose to go to first.
Now we got a new pitcher in the game for Hutto. We'll try to identify his number, identify him as soon as possible. That looks like number 18, Dayton Ballard, if I'm not mistaken. Replacing Pena Cripps, Justin Pena Cripps.
Caden Kent up to bat for the Cavaliers. Runner on second for the Cavs. Quick mound visit for the Hippos. He winds up, sets from the stretch, and the pitch.
Ooh, and that's line to right field.
Inside, gonna be deep enough to score the run.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there. It kind of came out.
So, Caden Kent
Designated hitter
with
number
a single
15,
with an
Cole
RBI.
Johnson.
That's going to make it 3-0 Cavaliers here on the top of the 7th. And coming into the box, number 15, Cole Johnson, designated hitter. Kent stays at first. Pickoff attempt. There's a tag, but he's safe.
Kent, I think, is maybe the stolen base threat.
A lot of speed on this Cavaliers lineup, as we mentioned. And, you know, Hutto, if the pitching and defense has been really well, but, you know, if they want to make a comeback here, the bats need to come alive.
This is their last inning to do it.
And that is a testament, really, to the Lake Travis pitching and defense. Just really nothing going for Hutto.
The windup. Pitch outside for a ball. 1-1 is the count.
One out here in the top of 7th. Brisk night from here in Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium.
Ball pitched down into the dirt. 2-1.
Dayton Ballard on the mound for the Hippos. He's allowed one run this far, looking to end the threat. Hippos have a good double play opportunity here, as that pitch is fouled into the catcher's mask. 2-2 count. Runner takes off for second. Kent, he's going to be safe. There's no throw from the catcher.
An awkward slide by Kent. He started his slide too late. Little kind of a dangerous move to do.
And I believe it's a full count to Johnson. Payoff pitch.
And going to be lined
Just off the glove of Grayson Doggett. Here comes the throw home.
to center fielder. Cut off by
Kent's going to save
Garrett
third.
Boehm. Cut off by Garrett Boehm. Thrown quickly over to third baseman Andrew Ender. Almost tagged him. Almost got him.
Yeah.
Third, because he was heading back to home to score, and he had to quickly turn around and come back. And Hippos caught him on his heels, and it was a bang play to be able to just barely get back.
Cavaliers now just one out, runners on first and third. We may see a steal here from Johnson at first. Here's the throw. Great block by Xander Hall, the catcher. Keep that for gain past him. And
I've noticed, though, that the Cavaliers, they don't get many extra base hits. They either walk or they hit singles, short little blooper hits, or just rockets off one-hoppers to the outfielders and just are able to work the counts, walk, or get sack hits, sack flies, grounders, fielder's choice to advance the runners. They don't have very many extra base hits tonight. If my calculations are correct, it looks like they have one extra base hit all of tonight, and they're up 3-0. That's a testament to their offense being able to work the counts and play smart offense and not be too greedy at the plate.
Absolutely.
And being okay with trading it out for advancing a runner or trading it out to score.
And we got a pinch runner coming in for Cole Johnson at first. It looks like number 18, Cole Gibson. As we got number 21, right fielder O.J. Gonzalez at the plate with a 2-0 count. And, yeah, like Gage said, a lot of small ball coming from Lake Travis, you know. One of those teams that don't need all the extra base hits to be successful. Oh,
and
that ball is hit hard to right field. That's going to drop just fair.
It's going to score.
That's going to score a run, and Gibson's going to advance to third.
Caden Smart will score. And did that hit off of his glove?
I don't believe it did, but it did land just fair. Caden Kent scores, and that's going to go as a double for Gonzalez. He's had a great game so far, and just as we're mentioning, not many extra base hits for Lake Travis. Here we got one right there.
That's it. That scores Cole Gibson. No. Caden Smart. That advances Cole Gibson from first base to third base and puts O.J. Gonzalez on second base. Cavaliers lead 4-0, 1 out in the top of the seventh. All of a sudden, it seems like things are falling off the rails for the Hippos. But, I mean, 4-0 against the number 1 team in the state, number 10 in the country. There's nothing to hang your head about on that. I mean, Hippos have not looked like they've gotten too flustered. They haven't shown any sign of negative emotion.
As Luna shown bunt, takes a pitch for a ball.
2-0.
Nick Luna, left fielder number 12 at the plate, with number 1 Logan Baker in a box on deck, third baseman.
It's interesting how in high school his last at bat they pinch hit Kyle Rader for him.
That's what I thought.
Nick Luna is right back in there. So
going back to that rule we mentioned earlier, you know, players can leave and then re-enter the game. Get moved around a little. Dayton Ballard on the mound for the Hutto, looking to get out of a jam. 1 out here in the top of the seventh.
Showing bunt just outside for a ball. 3-1.
Looks like there may be a squeeze play on tap here. You know, Luna shown bunt. Then you got Cole Gibson on third. You know,
Hippos
the
Hippos outfield is shifted for the bunt. But what you can't do is get too caught up in that. And if they all of a sudden pull back and don't bunt and they get a little blooper,
which is what's going to happen.
And it's going to be foul.
Hippos dodged a bullet there, I think. That would have been at least 2 runs scored.
That would have definitely been game crushing had that been fair. But what the Hippos can't do is they can't get caught up with the bunt and trying to shift to the bunt, and then Lake Travis not bunt, and the Hippos are watching for a bunt, and they get caught up, and Lake Travis get a little blooper or a rocket, and you're just so close where you don't have enough time to react to get your glove out there to make the snatch. So, and just like that,
bases loaded for the Cavaliers. Nick Luna draws a walk on the full count, and we're gonna have a mound visit from Hippos head coach Justin Elmore, visiting Dayton Ballard on the mound. Cavaliers' next hitter is going to be, looks like we may have a pinch hitter here. Looks like that's number 26, David Ripple, the catcher, or
Daniel Ripple?
David Ripple, actually, the brother of Daniel Ripple. Set of brothers on the team, twins, I'm guessing. Bases loaded here on top of 7th, just 1 out.
While this mound visit's going, we can talk about the final thing that I have written down. Of course, if we think of anything else to talk about from the college baseball standpoint or MLB by the end of the game, we can do that. But final move that the Padres made is they re-signed Jurickson Profar to a 3-year deal. And I'm a little partial to this just because I do know Jurickson Profar and I'm friends with him. But he's not a power hitter.
Now hitting
But
number
whenever he
26, David Ripple.
like Michael Brantley, whenever he gets one in his wheelhouse and he gets a good bat, a good swing on it, he can knock a ball out of any ballpark. But he can play pretty much any position except pitcher and catcher. So that's a good. Jurickson Profar is a great utility player, and Padres are lucky to have him. And that is the Rangers' loss from whenever they traded him in 2019 to the Athletics, and then Padres signed him at the end of the 2019 season. First pitch was a strike.
That pitch taken for a ball. 1-1 count for David Ripple. Pinch hitting for Logan Baker. Bases loaded.
The pitch. Catches. Guy at first.
The pitch is a ball.
Nick Luna, by surprise. They almost were able to pick him off. That would have been huge if they could have, but
Absolutely, that would have been real crucial. The pitch, it does go as a strike, 1-2 count so far.
with the bases loaded here, what you can't do is you can't allow a ground ball. Oh, just like that. Just gets through past the third baseman. Number 13, Andrew Ender.
1-run scores. That's Cole Gibson. Number 21, OJ Gonzalez, got a little tripped up, and bases are going to stay loaded for Lake Travis. That makes it 5-0 here on the top of the 7th.
That is going to score.
Third run of the inning.
I think it was Cole Gibson that was in for Cole Johnson on that one. That will score either Cole Johnson or Cole Gibson, one of the two Coles. 5-0. Cavaliers lead. 1 out. Top of the 7th inning.
Stepping into the box, number 17, Ryan Powell. Lake Travis really emptying their whole bench so far. Another throw to first. Trying to pick off Ripple. He'll be safe.
The pitch. And going to be a fly out to left fielder.
Looks like Val goes a sac fly.
Number 3, Levi Fletcher. Fletcher not able to get in time, to just a little too deep to avoid the run from scoring.
Val goes a sac fly. Number 21, OJ Gonzalez scores. That makes it a 6-0 game. Fourth run of the inning so far. Local college baseball action. Texas leads Texas A&M Corpus Christi 7-0 at the bottom of the 4th. Texas A&M leads Houston Baptist 4-0 at the bottom of the 5th. TCU leads Stephen F. Austin 2-1 in the top of the 5th. And Baylor and Sam Houston State are tied 0-0 in the top of the 5th.
Cavaliers about to bat around. If the Hippos cannot manage to get an out here, bat around. So right now we have no idea who's batting because he is not on the lineup card that we have.
Number 23, that's all we know, really. Pitch taken high for a ball, 1-0 count. 2 outs in the top of the 7th, 6-0 ball game. Runners on first and second for Lake Travis.
Trying to get the guy at first, which would be David Ripple.
A lot of pickoff attempts to first so far by Xander Hall, Hutto catcher.
David Ripple is getting quite a bit off the bag.
Kind of calls back to what we were talking about. A lot of great base runners on this Lake Travis squad. Pitches high and inside.
High, inside by his head. 2-1. The pitch just hits the outside corner for a strike. Another one of those that could have easily been called a ball. Actually looked like a ball from here.
2-2 count. Dayton Baller looking to get out of the inning here. A strikeout would end it. Help him get out of a jam. Uh-oh.
Ball tried to get the guy at second, picked off the glove of Grayson Doggett. Gets into center field. Guy advances to third.
Luna's going to advance to third base. Doggett, shortstop. Lake Travis has runners on the corners. Full count to number 23, the nameless batter. 2 outs here. Oh, and that ball's hit hard.
Deep
Left
outfield,
field.
high, but going to be just it's going to hold up, and it's going to be caught by the left fielder, number 3, Levi Fletcher, to end the inning.
Advance to the bottom of the 7th. Hutto bats need to come alive. Need 6 runs to tie it and make the comeback.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium. Going to the final frame of this game, unless the Hippos are able to pull off a miraculous comeback. But it's going to be tough to do, as the Cavaliers have put in their UT commit to pitch, number 2, Alec Grossman. So you're pitching already basically against college-level pitching. You're hitting against a college-level pitcher already. So Hippos are going to have to put up a 6th spot in the bottom of the 7th.
Now pitching for the Cavaliers, number 2, Alec Grossman.
Coming to bat for Hutto, number 7, first baseman Garrett Boehm, or Boehm, I should say, the Texas Tech commit. So we got UT versus Texas Tech pitching hitting matchup early on in the inning. Bottom of the 7th.
If there's anyone to get a rally started, it's this dude, because he's participated in the National Power Showcase. I believe he has won. I mean, if you're a Texas Tech commit, you're probably pretty good. Like I said, I haven't seen this dude play a lot. And whenever I have, I don't remember a lot, but I know he's a powerful dude. So I remember his brother. Brother was big and buff, had all the power in the world. So what a better guy to start a rally than Garrett Boehm. Oh, going to be a strike. Pitch and for a strike. Kind of looked like it was inside. 0-2. Hippos really have played well in this game up until this last top of the 7th inning, where everything is kind of unwound for them. Pitch is a ball outside.
Very true. Hutto, especially the pitching and defense, playing great. Holding Lake Travis to 2 runs, but that really kind of unraveled in the bottom of or top of the 7th. Cavaliers scoring 4 runs, making a 6-0 ball game. 2-2 count on Bame.
Last pitch is
to lead
in
off
the
the bottom of
inside.
7th. Last pitch hit the inside corner. That pitch is low for a ball. Full count on Bame.
Once again,
Searching for his first hit of the ball game.
second time at least this ball game where the Hippos have got out to an early 0-2 count and worked into a full count. And swinging for a strike on that fastball.
Grossman showing off a fastball, showing off a velocity, strikes out Bame. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Third baseman, number 13, Andrew Ender.
And like we said at the beginning of this game, you've got to do every little thing right. You have to work the count, which the Hippos have done a decently good job tonight. They've had several batters, like we said, go from 0-2 to 3-2 rather quickly. First pitch to number 13, Ender, is called for a ball. But the few key mistakes they've made is not hitting all their pitches, having errant throws on pickoff attempts when maybe they should just let the runners advance or not even attempt to pick a guy off if they weren't attempting to steal. Miscommunication has been a big one for the Hippos. But other than that, this has been a good game to watch, good game to call.
It really has. It's been a competitive one, especially when you're going against, the top team in the state. I do think Hutto has played a good game, especially against this level of competition. As Andrew Ender hitting for the Hippos, number 13, a third baseman. He's got a 2-2 count against him. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Alec Grossman looking to close it out for Lake Travis. And a swing and a miss. Another strikeout. Second of the inning for Grossman.
Ender is 0 for 3 on the night. 2 strikeouts and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play earlier. So Hippos down to their last batter unless they can find a way to get a guy on base. Number 6, catcher Xander Hall.
First pitch is a ball just outside. That's going to go behind the catcher. And that's a 1-0 count. Grossman really showing off why he's committed to the University of Texas, showing great control, great velocity, nothing these hitters can really connect on.
Fouled back to the net, right in front of us, for a strike. 1-1. 2 inning. Cavaliers lead 6-0. Final batter for the Hippos unless they can find a way to get on base. Curves in. That was a nice breaking ball. Looked like it was going to be a ball, and just at the last minute, curved in.
Got the inside corner.
1-2. Hippos down to their last strike. The pitch curves in again, but called for a ball this time. That looked like the exact same pitch with the exact same spot. Count is 2-2. And swinging strike, but gets away from the catcher. Halch is going to try and beat the throw out, and he's going to be out.
And so that does it from Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium. Lake Travis wins 6-0. Hutto offense just didn't have what it took to get the victory. Pitching and defense looked nice, really. Just didn't have what it took to get the win.
Yeah, and great test, like we said, to come in. First home game of the year, a fun game. You've got Hippos played in a tournament last weekend, played some good baseball schools, ended 3-3 that weekend, so they're going to fall to 3-4. They're going to good luck to Lake Travis the rest of the season. We know they're going to do well. Can't wait to see how far they can go. Hippos play a good game. Just a few key mistakes and great offense by Lake Travis to capitalize on those mistakes.
Lake Travis advances to 5-0-1 on the season, and they'll return to action later this week, as will the Hippos. So great early season test for Hutto. You know,
Both teams should start district play soon. I believe spring break week. I think the week during spring break, I believe it's maybe the first weekend of district play. So once again, the final here is from Hutto Memorial Baseball Stadium is 6-0. The Cavaliers take this one. Good luck to the Hippos in their next tournament this weekend, and look forward to being back on the air probably when district starts for as many games as I can. For Gage Bowles, Luke, have a good night, everybody.
You didn't know my last name, do you?